Technology is often credited for advancing global connectivity. Telephones, airplanes, the internet. A new generation of grandchildren are growing up less accustomed to going over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house, but rather with a click of a button via Skype. But a recent announcement from Russia's President, Dmitry Medvedev, centers upon a new means of connecting the world that is a perfect example of old-school technology meeting new-school innovation. Specifically, Medvedev's proposal, and in all honesty it isn't a new one, is to build a rail tunnel burrowing beneath the Bering Strait connecting Russia with the U.S. This is what the landscape looks like today and where the proposed tunnel would be built. It's a cold, dark, desolate area, and one which would not be without challenges for engineers. While the idea isn't new, it is uniquely Russian. The idea was first raised by Tsar Nicholas II in 1905, but Medvedev's announcement appeared this week as it was endorsed by Alexander Leventhal, Deputy Federal Representative for the Russian Far East. Lauded as the greatest rail project of all time, the reasons cited at the Yakutsk Conference on Remote Infrastructure Development focused on this 500-mile rail line providing relatively inexpensive passage for 3% of the world's cargo, while providing more access to diverse resources in the region. Russia is already in the midst of a $1 billion rail expansion project on the Trans-Siberian Railway that could link to the northeastern tip of Siberia by 2030. While the project itself is ambitious, leadership in Russia projects the new tunnel would be able to transport 3% of the world's cargo faster and cheaper. They also point to the fact that it would provide access to natural resources currently untapped and much needed in remote areas of the globe. Engineers around the world indicate that such a project is not outside the realm of possibility. The knowledge and ability is there to make this century-old Russian dream a reality. And there is a certain dreaminess about it. Imagine being able to drive from New York to London. Talk about the ultimate epic road trip. But like any big idea, it's less about the what and more about the how. While the project has been approved by the Russian government this week, it is still unclear how it will be funded, and with a price tag in excess of $65 billion, that's no small challenge. But if we can imagine that this vision becomes a reality, the implications are greater than simply a cheaper cargo line and potentially more open access to currently untapped and much needed natural resources. The implications point to something bigger. This very physical connector of a rail tunnel is symbolically the equivalent of what we all are experiencing with an increasingly interconnected nature of the modern global marketplace. The world is connected like never before, and with this rail project, it will be connected physically as well as economically, metaphorically, and virtually. It is almost ironic that we have to reach back 100 years to find an idea that finally closes the loop in global connectivity. Perhaps it will remind us that physical connection, sharing the space of others around the world and walking in their shoes, is still important, perhaps more important than ever before.